Hey guys, Peter here to tell you about the latest from Judicator, Concord, out March 28th. The album has 9 tracks, 51 minutes in length, and this is the band's 7th full-length studio album. They are an American power metal band. Now this record is a theme/concept album surrounding the American West and the stories that come along with it. That theme or that concept does not define the structure or the design of the album at all. Each and every single song, it's its own individual story, its own individual journey. So it's not about putting them together in a way that paints an overall picture. It's more about putting them together in a way that makes the overall experience more fluid, more engaging, more dynamic. And I feel like the album definitely achieves that goal. Now, as far as the sound is concerned, there's obviously a lot of power metal on this record, but this album also has a huge symphonic backdrop. And that aspect of the sound of the record makes this more of a modern power metal sounding album, with that more emphasis on the keys, on the synths, on the melodies that they bring, and on the atmospheres that they create. And that's exactly what this album offers from that standpoint. When it comes down to the keys, to the orchestrations, to the symphonic elements in general, you're going to see them create obviously a lot of melody on this record and really define what that melody is all about, but they also create that more cinematic backdrop that when you think of the themes of the songs, you really need something to galvanize it, to make the tracks a little bit bigger, a little bit more epic, a little bit more robust. This album definitely relies on those elements for that sort of experience. Now, the fun thing about this album is that the guitars, for example, don't get drowned out by those symphonic elements, which is becoming more and more the case with this more modern power metal sound, where sometimes it's very hard to tell what the guitars are exactly doing. On this album, the guitars still get their own space, they still have their own attitude, their own size, their own room to breathe, if you will, and they bring to the table quite a bit of heaviness and quite a bit of drive that's really important for that more power metal sound that the band has and that this record offers. You're also going to see them finding their own room and their own space in the guitar solos, which really give them a place to shine, a place to evolve, giving great quality to the tracks, giving some explosion to the tracks, giving some more melody and a different perspective to the tracks. And I think that is also an important aspect of this record, because when you start moving into that more modern sound, sometimes these two worlds really collide and it becomes really difficult to tell one from the other. This record is able to use both, but use them in a way that you're still able to see the power in power metal, specifically when it comes to the guitar sound. That for me on this album is really top notch. I enjoy the guitar sound throughout, the tuning, the delivery, the solos, the melodies, the heaviness, because it's really important. This album, for a power metal record, has a lot of heaviness on the guitar sound, but not only on the guitar sound, on the drums as well. The drums on this album are powerful. There's certain tracks that feels like horses, like a stampede of horses coming at you. So this is not a soft sounding album at all. Just because it has a huge melodic influence, a huge symphonic melodic influence in the soundscapes, in the textures, in the atmospheres, and in the sounds, that didn't take anything away from the heaviness of the record, from the drive of the record, both on the guitar and on the drum front. Now, once you get to the vocals really help deliver these stories and really help paint these stories with a very controlled, very warm delivery. Not necessarily your prototypical power metal delivery with great ranges, like really insane, more mellow lows and then extreme highs. This album doesn't do that vocally, but I don't think this album really needed that vocally. This album needed more of a warm delivery. It needed more of a delivery that connects emotionally to the themes, to the songs, to the lyrics. And from that standpoint, I felt like the vocal performance was on par with what the record musically had to deliver. And when you put these all things together, this is an album that's going to resonate with the more classic, traditional power metal fans, but it's also going to resonate with the more symphonic power metal fans. It's a very modern sounding album, and it's very modern in its approach and its execution and the production behind it. Now, as far as favorite songs are concerned, I want to start off with Sawtooth. Great guitar sound. It's a huge part of this song. The guitars are a massive part of this song. The drums offer that galloping sound that I was mentioning earlier. This is a track that really defines that drum heaviness, that galloping sound, that stampede sound. And I think that's really important for tracks like these because it gives it some substance and makes the songs more robust. So they're not just big, or they don't have just size because of the symphonic elements and what those do. They also have some substance within it because of the heaviness of the drums and the guitars as well. So it's a track that relies heavily on the guitar sound, as most do on this album. It's a very guitar driven record, even though it has a lot around it. And the vocals are very warm, great delivery, great layers with some backing vocals. Vocal performance is really on point, but at the end of the day, what sells this song, it's the chorus. This song has a very hooky, very catchy chorus, and that is definitely the trademark of the track. Next we have Weeping Willow, a track that has heavy drums, heavy guitars, a symphonic sub-essence that blends in with those heavy drums and heavy guitars. The verses become a little bit more somber. This song has a different mood. This song has a more darker vibe, a more darker essence, if you will, and everything paints that picture. The more somber mood that the sound and vocals deliver in the verses, but even how the chorus hits, it's a track that is embellished in darkness, and I feel like that's an important aspect of the track and of the lyrics that are within the song itself. The vocals really dominate this song, and I like the fact that the track still creates a lot of ebbs and flows between the heavier side of the song and the more symphonic side of the song. But all around, regardless of which portion of the track we're talking about, that sense of darkness spreads throughout the entire song. Last but definitely not least, Imperial. This is a great track because it's perhaps one of the most unique songs on the album. Definitely what I felt to be the most layered and textured song, the richer sounding song that this album offers. And also it offers a lot of different moods, a lot of different perspectives, a lot of different atmospheres. It's a track that at times feels like a King Diamond song because of the way the sound presents itself. And sometimes it loses that. It becomes more of a natural power metal song, then becomes more of a symphonic power metal song. It's a track that doesn't really have a single identity. It has a multitude of identities, all of them working really well together because they were able to find the connections that unites all of these influences versus perhaps concentrating themselves a little bit more on what makes them unique. And that's what sells this track. This is what makes this track what it is. The uniqueness of the song is how all of these different influences, all of these different momentums work so well from beginning to end and make the track so dynamic and so engaging. This is at Judicator with Concord, once again out March 28th. Hit me up in the comment section. I'm dying to see what you guys have to say about this record, about the singles, and I'll see you all at the next video. Take care, guys.